Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Morning Tea, where we sit in our sleepwear and discuss current events. My name is Wahima, but just call me Wah. And today's tea is Iced Fairy Nectar Tea by the Mountain Witch Tea Company. And let's jump right into what's happening today. I want to start this morning tea with saying when I speak about Obama later on, I want to say that I'm completely biased. So if you have any arguments against Obama and why he's terrible and horrible for the country, I don't care. I love him unabashedly. First thing I want to talk about is Grammy Award winning singer, songwriter, dancer, mom, baby mama, producer, actress Ciara sang the national anthem a couple days ago or a couple nights ago at the college football game championship between, I don't know their names, but the mascot is an elephant and the other one is a tiger. I don't know who won the game, but the point is that Ciara sang the national anthem and everyone is saying that she slayed. Are they saying that she sang better than expected? Because I don't know that Ciara will ever slay singing anything. But there was also some controversy with her outfit, which I thought she looked beautiful. They were saying that it was too risque for the kind of event it was, that there were kids watching. And I mean, it was this beautiful like piece. It was like, it was red carpet. It was, you know, could be worn at the Grammys. It could have been worn at the Oscars. It could have been worn at the Golden Globes, which I did not watch. I'm not sure what all the controversy is around her outfit. I do know that I disagree with the announcement that she slayed, because I don't know that that can be applied to Ciara when it comes to her singing. Like, you know, maybe her dancing, but definitely not her singing. Next thing I want to talk about is David Bowie. David Bowie passed away. I honestly don't know any David Bowie music, except for, I do know that song, Let's Dance, put on your red something and dance. I don't even really know the song. I think it's Let's Dance though. I know that song. But more importantly, I know him as somebody who has been married to Iman for a very long time. And my heart and prayers goes out to her and the family of David Bowie. So rest in power, David Bowie. They caught El Chapo, which apparently is a big deal in the narcotics community. I guess he was on the run. I don't know what's happening, but they caught him. So if you guys were ever worried about cocaine coming into your city, if El Chapo, him being out there, you know, really was like, oh, El Chapo's out there, then they caught him. So you should feel good about things, right? So do you guys remember a couple years ago, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, this teenage boy, he was 16 years old, he got into a car accident, killed 4 people and then left the scene of the crime, and his lawyers said that he had affluenza, which is basically some sort of like mental thing where because he was raised rich and like super rich, that he has no understanding of consequences or things like when he does things wrong. So for some reason they bought it and he got 10 years probation. This fool killed 4 people and got 10 years probation. Like, not 10 years in jail, like 10 years outside of jail with a thing on his leg, probation. Like, what? That's 4 counts of manslaughter and leaving the scene of the crime. But you know, you're rich. So they fed into his affluenza and only gave him 10 years. But even that wasn't enough for him because his affluenza was so acute. It was so strong that he decided, him and his mother, that about 2 years into his probation, that they were just like, no, you just go to Mexico. Currently, he is still in Mexico. A Mexican judge allowed him to stay, and his lawyers are fighting his deportation situation because the United States is like, no, come back. And he's like, no, I'll stay here. His mom got arrested, right? She just got let out on bail. Her bail was $1 million, and then the judge took it down to $75,000, saying, oh, just stay in the house. Like, here's an ankle bracelet, stay in the house. She like obstructed justice and like aided and abetting like a fleeing person. Like, I mean, so much leniency is left to this family. It's out of control. I mean, I know, I get that, you know, they're rich, so, but it's just so crazy that they're just allowing this like affluenza and this idea of them being rich and not being able to like adhere to consequences. They're just running with it like it's okay. It's not okay. Okay, so the final thing I wanted to talk about, this is the big thing that I wanted to talk about today, is Obama's State of the Union address. So once again, I'm going to preface this by saying I am completely biased. I don't care if you don't like Obama. For me, Obama being president has meant so much for almost all minority kids in this country. To see the leader of the most powerful country in the world be somebody other than some old ass white man is a big effing deal. I got to see that in my lifetime. 2 generations ago, Black people were being hung from trees like it was a normal thing to happen. And now we have a Black man in the presidency. He has been challenged on every front. And everybody wants to say that him being challenged by Republicans is not rooted in racism. It is 100% rooted in racism. But anyways, let's go over some of the things that he talked about in his State of the Union address. First of all, when he walked in, I was like, he was giving a lot of women like kisses, like not on the cheeks or whatever, but like cheek to cheek kisses. And I was like, I want a cheek to cheek kiss from Obama. Michelle looked amazing. I mean, I was loving the swooping bang, the thick eyeliner. It was looking really good. And apparently her dress that she wore tonight sold out already from Nordstrom's.com. Like, this woman, this is so crazy. I love it. It makes me so happy. I know everyone's like, oh, she's supposed to be the first lady, not a fashion figure, or like whatever. But you know what? She's wearing everyday woman clothes. If people can go onto Nordstrom's and get her outfit and everyone loves it, I full on support it. I feel like the Obamas are like the new wave of presidencies. Like, I mean, of a president. To me, the Clintons were like a transition between the old ways and the new ways. Clinton being very popular, going on, you know, the show, playing the saxophone, like it's all very cool. And then we had like a little dip with the Bush. And now we're back to being like our president being like this cool person. And he's just so modern. He's just such a modern president. And I love it. I just love it. I love how he has decided and made a choice to be more active on social media and be a part of the people in a way that no other president has been part of the people. And that's part of some of the stuff that he talked about tonight, which is the staying up with technology. I found that his speech in general he didn't go as hard as I wanted him to go. Like, I wanted him to just come out and say whatever, but it's okay. Like, I find that Obama's handling his presidency in the best way he can. And there are times when he goes hard and there's times when he doesn't. And if he doesn't go hard when I expect him to go hard, I'm absolutely fine with that. So some of the things that he outlined in his speech was that he wanted to talk about how do we give everyone a fair shot and opportunity in this country? How do we make technology work for us? How to keep Americans and the world safe without being world police, which I think is very important. How can we make our politics reflect what the best in us is and not the worst? And to me, that last statement is directly like challenging Trump and his base and how he is just drumming up all kinds of negativity, and all of the racists are just coming out of the woodworks, you know, to deal with Trump. And I find that Trump's position is very important because I want, like I've said in previous things, I don't care if people wave the Confederate flag. In fact, I want them to wave the Confederate flag because I want to see the racists. You know, I want to see them. I want to know they're racist before I deal with them. The Republican Party always spews out a lot of like fear tactics when they're dealing with Americans, talking about how America is weak. They talk about underneath this president. They talk about how, food stamp recipients are bringing down our economy, how Al-Qaeda and ISIS are getting stronger. And they always feed into this machine that like this country is so bad and there's no work and technology, and he's trying to take away the coal and oil industry. And yes, there are a lot of people that will be affected if we do away with the coal and the oil industry. I understand that. I understand that there's hardworking people who only want to make a living, but we have to keep up with technology. We have to keep up with the way the world is changing. And I 100% agree with that. We can't stay stuck in an old-fashioned way, or a way things used to be, the way our grandparents used to make money, the way even our parents used to make money. The world is changing and evolving. Some of the proposals he's talking about is making the first 2 year of community college free for whoever wants to go as long as they're, good students, responsible students. And I think those things are important. We need to promote education, regardless of the fact that, yes, not everyone's going to be a CEO. Not everyone needs to have a 4-year degree, but people need to be specialized in things from a technical standpoint so that they can compete, because things are changing. Yes, it's not all about wielding a hammer anymore. It's not all about that physical stuff that people used to be able to do and get by and work. There's a problem with Social Security that's coming, and he's talking about strengthening and keeping Social Security around for those Americans who need it. The reason why people are in a cycle of food stamps is because it's a broken system. Their education isn't good. The only way they know that they're going to be able to make any kind of money or support a family is if they do have a family, because that's how they're going to get money and help from the government. Also, he talked about tax breaks for lower income people who don't have kids. And I almost fell out of my seat when he said that, because I was like, thank God. It's like, honestly, and this is real talk, and I don't want to throw any shade on anyone, but the truth is that I'm less valued because I'm not a parent. I don't make that much money, and it's almost like the system is set up to benefit those people who have kids. So it's like, why not have a kid? You'll be able to get tax breaks. So I thought that was really great and interesting for me. So I'm like, yeah, give me some tax breaks, fool. Like, thanks. We have this idea in this country that everybody who works hard deserves a fair shot, and it's kind of being eclipsed by the technological industry. Because if you can try your hardest, but if you don't know how to get on the computer and navigate it, you're behind. Every single industry has technology in it. The farming, the medical, in all of it. Like even people who are builders, if we integrated in every single school system, but technology and computers and all that stuff needs to be added to the curriculum as early as elementary school so that you can get kids thinking and understanding that technology is the way, and also getting parents to understand that technology is the way. You should. I mean, it's what it is. You want to set your kids up for the best that you can. We have to embrace the technology and keep moving with the times. Over are the days of just, coming out of high school, getting some sort of laborious job and being able to take care of your family. The world has opened up now because of the internet, right? Companies don't have to stay in the States. They can go elsewhere. And there's no reason for them to stay in the States. It's cheaper for them to get labor on the outside. And everyone wants to blame immigrants. Everyone wants to blame other things besides these companies that are choosing to pay more attention to their bottom line than pay attention to the people of this country. You know what? It's not everyone else's fault that you don't have a job. It's between you and the company you're trying to work for. Either they're not hiring you because they're exporting their work, or they're not hiring you because you aren't technologically advanced to be able to work. 18 million people have healthcare now. I know that the healthcare system is kind of jacked up, because I actually have a friend who makes too much money to get a lower payment for her healthcare. She lives in New York City, and she's gonna have to pay like $300 a month to have healthcare, because if you don't have healthcare in this country, you are now gonna get taxed on it, and that sucks. But think about all the people who now can have healthcare without having a job, or without having a job that gives them healthcare. So it's a double-edged sword, and it isn't perfect, and it'll get better. But I mean, isn't it great for those who never had access to it to now have access to it? And just really talking about how, not to give up on politics, and a lot of Americans have given up on politics, and it's like, oh, nothing's going to change, so why should I vote? Why should I do anything? To be very cynical about the idea of politics and politicians. Yes, the system is effing broken. Yeah, absolutely. Congress is only paying attention to lobbyists and special interest groups and all that stuff, and it's true, but that's no reason for you to shut down and turn a blind eye to what's happened. I don't think I can do anything about anything, but I have an opinion, a little bit of an opinion. He mentioned that he understands that there has been a great divide in this country with him being the president, as far as the Republicans and the Democrats go. Like, the divide has gotten wider, and it's like a lot of rancor happening in Congress in DC because of it. And he wants to try to figure it out. I personally, and this is my personal opinion, I don't think the rancor has anything to do with necessarily him actively creating it. I think it has to do with the fact that there are a bunch of fucking racists and people who don't want to see a black man succeed and want to see him fail. And so they cause these divisions, and they don't want people in Congress to be able to work with each other, because the base, the special interest group, the super rich of their base, are demanding that they not go along with Obama. I really feel like a lot of these politicians who he would want to work with and would possibly want to work with him can't. because their base is saying, no, don't work with him. You know, we want this, we want that. Republicans and Democrats want the same thing for this country. They just feel like the way of going about it is different. The way of going about getting what everybody wants is different. And I understand that. There's a lot of old money on both sides. There's a lot of people who want to remain powerful, who want to have politicians in their back pocket, so they'll do whatever to keep it. But there needs to be a change. There's way too much transparency happening now with politics because of the internet, and that people aren't going to be able to hide behind, you know, crazy policies and whatnot, because there are a lot of people who are rooting out these inconsistencies. They're rooting out all of the corruption and the red tape that's in government. And politicians want to get from under the red tape themselves. Some of them do, maybe some of them don't, but they want to as well. And so it's a system that's going to take at least a generation to overcome. And this idea that like Obama looks so weak compared to Russia, compared to the Chinese, compared to the Middle East. The Middle East is simmering right now. You know, they are fighting because of a millennia old issue. They have been fighting for generations, and now it's boiling over. You know, China, they're communist, yet they're not communist, and their economy is ever changing and altering, and you know, they're going through a transition. Russia, I mean, come on now. You know, Putin is trying to figure out Syria and Ukraine. He's doing a lot of stuff with Turkey now. There's a lot happening with those people, and we're still a strong foothold in the country, but we have to sort of stop the inner fighting and stop blaming other people for issues and blaming immigrants and blaming presidents and blaming this person, and just figure out and root out what the issue is and solve it. Both sides of the table, both sides of the aisle want the same thing. They just believe in different ways of achieving it. I'm all about smaller government. There are people who see the government as having way too much reach. I feel like if we privatize things, then discrimination is allowed to be way more rampant, and I'm never interested in discrimination. I don't trust the private sector as much as I think other people trust the private sector. One of the last things he said was, you know, alienating people who don't look like us or pray like us, you know, just makes things harder for our economy. The one thing that we need to not be doing right now is alienating other people, because if we just pull in ranks and consolidate and bond, then we can make this country so much stronger. At the end of the day, like, if we're going to stay up with the world and stay ahead of everything, then we need to bring together all of our brain power collectively, no matter race, creed, or religion, and move forward. The internet is an American invention. Why would you want to stop that? Why would you want to stop innovation like that? I get it. Not everybody is going to be an engineer. But if we offer opportunity for people to maybe work for the engineer, then that's going to also help and bolster our economy. If you would like to join and add to the conversation, please go ahead and do so. That's all I have for today's episode of Morning Tea. I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Thank you. Bye.